What's up, guys? I'm coming down with something. I'm sure you guys can hear it in my voice. If you watch me regularly, you know that I'm a little stuffy. So bear with me if I'm not that easy to listen to in this video, because this is some big news for Algorand and Algorand holders. But I am a little under the weather. Not sure what it is. Hopefully it's not COVID. I don't know, man. But anyways, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about this news about Algorand and how important this is and what it means for the Algorand ecosystem and for Algorand holders. And we're going to jump into my charts. I have a couple of different charts for Algorand with a couple of different ideas. So stick around for the whole video. Smash the like button. It really helps out a lot. I really appreciate it. Ask anybody, man. Ask around town. Join the Discord. Ask them. I really do appreciate the support very much. Thank you, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Join the community, guys. Join the community. And we're going to jump straight on into it, man. Now, like I said, we will jump into the charts. Like I do have a couple different ideas for Algorand. In one chart, it looks to be like we're breaking our support, but in this chart, you can see that it looks like we're still maintaining some support. We'll get into that later in the video. But first, I do want to talk about this article here. Algorand pushing for Ethereum compatibility with a $20 million incentive program. Before we jump into this, I would like to point out that we are giving away Dogecoin mining rewards to your wallet for free for 30 days. All you have to do is be one of the first 25 AJC token holders to have a chance at winning that. If you want to know more, go to averagejoecrypto.io and we'll jump straight back into it. So, like I said, we're going to talk about this article and then we'll jump straight into the charts, guys. So Algorand is putting up $20 million in funding to accelerate development in its ecosystem, according to a Thursday evening announcement by Algorand Foundation CEO Stacy Warden at the ETH Denver conference. And this was published February 18th. So that was today, guys. This article just came out today. Just to point that out. This is over at CoinDesk. Foundation officials said that $10 million in grants would go to developers that can provide solutions for Ethereum virtual machine or EVM compatibility, a key cog for emerging networks looking to woo established projects. For Algorand, EVM compatibility means applications that are built on Ethereum or other Ethereum-compatible chains can also execute on Algorand. So that's pretty big, right? It's expanding its ecosystem. It's expanding its reach, right? The announcement comes as token-rich blockchain projects increasingly turn to funding incentives to lure developer talent into building out their ecosystems. Good idea there. Warden also told CoinDesk the other $10 million will go towards projects that can build robust developer tools for Algorand. And developer tools are suites of products that make building applications on Algorand easier, such as compilers and debuggers. Both programs are expected to increase the number of projects on the chain. The twin objectives would allow Algorand to tap into the robust and existing Ethereum-based developer community and also onboard new developers by making building on Algorand simpler. The pitch is the tech, said Warden, when asked about Algorand's appeal against a sea of base blockchain layers competing for developer talent. She said, "We simply have the best tech." Algorand, baby. Algorand, baby. Where's my Algorand holders at? Drop them comments in the chat, y'all. Algorand claims to be able to execute up to 10,000 transactions per second, costing only fractions of a cent per transaction. Last year, cheap and fast layer 1s experienced an influx of interest as Ethereum users complained about high transaction fees. I'm sure we've all been there. Warden told CoinDesk that Algorand is also spearheading state-proof technology, a feature that would allow developers to take a snapshot of a blockchain in time. The snapshot, or state proof, would serve as a source of truth, allowing transactions to be completed via a smart contract instead of a consensus bridge. In the medium term, our goal is to be the layer 1 that can enable financial inclusion, said Warden. We believe in a multi-chain world, but if there's only one settlement chain, it'll be Algorand for sure. Really digging this article, man. Especially, I hold a small bag of Algorand. I'm sure there's a lot of Algorand holders out there with very nice bags, man. Very nice bags, right? So this is very good news for you guys. It's very good news for all of us that are holding Algorand, no matter how much. So let's go ahead and jump into the chart here and talk about what is going on with the price action, as we have seen some downside in the markets overall, more so mostly due to a lot of fear right now going on all over the world. Lots of things going on out there. We're not going to get into that in this video. Maybe I should make a separate channel for that. But let's jump into the charts, guys, and see what's going on. So I'm going to talk about this chart first because this is sort of a more bullish chart, in my opinion. As always, not financial or investment advice. Invest at your own risk. Disclaimer down below. But like I said, this is more so of a bullish chart here, guys, because of how you're still maintaining the support. Look at this. And honestly, until I put this on log scale, I did not realize this myself at all. But if you look at this chart, guys, where Algorand is at currently, just disregard anything going on with other coins, just because of where Algorand is at currently, this is somewhat pretty bullish, guys. If you look back here, you had support there, you had support here, and where was this at? This was in 2020. This was somewhere towards the end of 2020, guys. Right here, where you had this support. And now we are testing that same support line. And you can see that I have the resistance drawn in here at the top as well. And all that has seemed to be playing out very nicely, very accurately there, all confirming touches. So when we look at this chart, you would say that Algorand is actually in a fairly decent spot to see an upside move. If you look at the way this EMA is curving up, you see the way it curved down here off of this hump and then had a move to the upside. It's curved down now. If we can get above that, like you did right here, and like you did back here, if we can get above that moving average here, this is actually the weekly time frame. I should point that out, guys. This is the weekly time frame. But if we can get above this on the weekly time frame, and we actually only have 2 more days until this weekly candle closes, I would say that if this weekly candle closes here above this support like this once more, you're showing tremendous support here. You could very much likely potentially see a nice bounce here for Algorand here in the coming weeks. Now, with that being said, I would like to point out that you are below this ribbon that's starting to form here on the weekly. If we drop it down to the daily, we can see where we're at. You are still below the ribbon also, but in my opinion, we're somewhere over here similar to something like this, right? And I do think this could fill out here, like I said, in the coming weeks, and you could eventually see a move to the upside just because of where you are at, guys. I mean, you are holding support on a long-term support level. Now, with that being said, we could talk about areas to the upside where we could go on this chart. Basically, I would point out the resistance and support levels from the previous price action. But first, I'd like to go on to this chart because this chart kind of tells a different story for Algorand. So in this chart, it looks like we've actually broken our support. Now, the difference between this chart and the other chart is log scale. Of course, where I have these trend lines placed, if you put it on log scale now, it completely throws it off. But we'll take this off a log scale. So we have a log scale chart, right, that is showing that we're still holding support. And then we have a chart that's off of log scale here on the daily time frame that looks like we've broken our support. So could this be a massive bear trap right here? Could we actually bounce very nicely, put in a nice little double bottom here for Algorand? Absolutely. I think that's possible, depending on what happens, obviously, with the rest of the markets. But we do have that bullish news for Algorand coming out. I think long-term, that's very good bullish news. So if we look at this chart, though, we need to be watching this because you can see that where we're at, we're trying to hold support. This is the daily, so you do have a lot of support here on the daily, right here near that 80-cent range. But we are curving our EMA over on top of us here. We've just broken out of this potential pattern with a measured move down here around 75 cents. So Algorand could, in the short term, potentially here in the next week or so, could drop on down to approximately 75 cents. That would be a nice test of some of this. You could even go a little lower. I would say around the 68 to 75 cents there. You could go a little bit lower. But I do believe that in the short term, you could see that little slightly lower low there and then a bounce. But then in this chart, you would be wanting to pay attention to around the $1.20 range for resistance because that could easily knock you back down as its previous support. But if we look at our other chart, guys, and we put it on log scale, let's just think about this on the daily. Long term. Let's think long term. When in doubt, zoom out, right? Because if we want to really think about how bullish we should be on Algorand, then we need to zoom out. And we need to take a look at this chart from a longer perspective. And then look at this. If you can imagine that we hold our support here, where we have multiple touches to confirm on the daily, on the weekly. You have multiple touches to confirm this support level. You could even put in a secondary area of support here and act as resistance potentially here. But we're not going to look at that. That would be short-term action. We're going to look at the long term. And if you look at this, we could go ahead and put us on out here towards sometime towards the, let's just say sometime towards the middle of this year, sometime around July, August, even towards the end of this year potentially. You could go to this line of resistance to determine a possible target if we go bullish, guys. Obviously, we could break down out of this support, possibly come down and test this area that I have put in, which is basically this top over here projecting this support out. You can see how all three of these touches confirm support on that trend line. So that's somewhere I would look for if we do happen to break this current support. I would look for around the 60-cent range. So that aligns with our other chart, around the 60 to 75-cent range. That aligns with our other chart for support, right? So if we take a look at that, what I want to look at though is this bullish target, because you could speculate, guys, that if we do go bullish and have a reversal here and a run up, that the next area for Algorand to test would be up around $7, potentially around $6 to $7, maybe even $8, depending on the time frame and how far you went out here. Because looking at November to December of this year, towards the end of this year, that could even put Algorand up here around $10. That would be in December, guys. That'd be around December is where this trend line would line you up with $10. So you could even speculate a very bullish target of $10 by the end of the year for Algorand, depending on which way the markets go. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt. This is purely my opinion, guys. But if you look at the chart, that's what it tells us. Now, obviously, we would have to hold our support for that to happen. We would also have to make sure that we actually have a reversal and a bullish run. Otherwise, you could just go sideways, maybe carry up on your support a little bit and then break it. But I just wanted to point out the bullish targets, guys, because, why not, right? We got some bullish news, so we got to talk about the bullish targets, right? Always not financial advice, guys. It doesn't mean it's going to happen like this. We have a lot going on out there, in the real world, man, that's, affecting the financial markets. Lots of fear in the markets right now. But you know what they say, man, buy the fear, sell the greed. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out averagejoecrypto.io. It is available on Uniswap, guys. And if you're one of the first 25 AJC token holders, you will actually have a chance at winning 30 days of Dogecoin mining rewards delivered to your wallet address. So check it out. As always, invest at your own risk, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. But I love you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I'll see you in the next video.